Hello, everybody. This is Bill, the company's expert, and welcome to the Business Growth and Entrepreneur Podcast. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about how to convince buyers to buy. This is an interesting topic. This is a very critically important topic for anybody in business or who is starting a business. So consequently, it's going to get a lot of attention from a lot of people, and a lot of people want to know the answer. Now, a while ago, I did a video called How to Get Your First Customers, and this was oriented towards startups and entrepreneurs, people starting small businesses and the like, and I got a lot of comments, and one comment is from someone called David B, and David B says, "Thanks for the good info. I have a business startup that was recently launched into the marketplace, and I'm struggling with this exact issue. How to get my first customers. My marketing campaign includes a website to show, quote unquote, a risk-free offer and direct messaging to prospects who fall within a specific niche. Any additional info on how to resolve this issue would be appreciated." Now, right off the bat, I just want to say that if you are living in the United States, you would pronounce it niche. And if you are living in other areas of the former British Empire, like Canada or anything, you would call it niche. So if you're wondering how you say that word, that's how you say it. Now, okay, this is excellent. Thank you, David B. This is a great question. So you've got a website up, and on your website, you're showing a risk-free offer, and you're trying to make a sales pitch, but you haven't got any customers yet. So let's talk about this. Okay, let's get the theory out of the way first, and then let's talk about your specific case. So, okay, how to get your first customer? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to figure out what market segment you're going after, okay? So you need to think of the types of people that would be your potential customers, right? And for example, if you've got a business that is in a specific industry, whether it's IT, or you could be offering to mow lawns or something like that. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to try and figure out who are your potential customers, okay? Because if you don't have that figured out, you will not get very far. Who are the people that already pay for the thing that you're selling, okay? Maybe they're going to your now competitors. Okay, so who are these people? Where are they? How do you reach them? Okay, now you've got to answer those questions. You've got to know this stuff. Who are your potential customers? And the way to do that is, well, one established way is to look at the customers that businesses already have that are in your industry, okay? And find out who they are. Who are their customers? Second thing you could do is you could probe the market. You could try stuff. You could go on social networking and join a whole bunch of groups that are related to your industry and put out messages, put out posts saying, "Hello, I have this. Are you interested?" Or you could say, "What's your biggest complaint with your existing provider of this service or this product?" Okay? And see what people say. Now, if you're not getting any responses, that suggests that you're not really going to the right place, okay? You're not really going over the right channel to reach these people, okay? You have to get to know your potential customers. And ideally, you would start the business already having that done, okay? Now, we talked about like asking them about what they care about, okay? If you don't know what they care about and what the selling points are for your product or service, that's what you do to figure that out. And if you can't ask them about it, you try stuff, okay? You do the market probing, and you put out posts, and you put out messages, and you put out offers, and gauging by people's responses or lack of responses, you will learn, okay, what works and where these people are, okay? Now, if you do get responses, from people who would be your potential customers, okay? The first thing you could do is you could ask them, like, you know, what features do you care about? What aspects do you care about? Is price the most important consideration for you, or is it quality or longevity, or is it coming from a established company or name recognition? Like what is the most important thing that you care about? And gradually get to understand how these people think. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to preach is you got to preach caution, because sometimes people will not yield the truth when you ask them that. For example, they may say that, oh yeah, we care about price first and we care about quality second, or whatever. But in reality, the thing that they care about the most is maybe they're very conservative and they only care that the provider is a reliable, well-known provider of that product or service. Okay, they're conservative. They don't want to do business with some unknown. They only want to do business with tried and true suppliers in their eyes. Okay, and things like that may not be what they say when you ask them, what's the biggest consideration. So you also have to sort of read between the lines sometimes. But the end result of all this is that you're going to get to know your potential customers. And if you had full and complete knowledge of how these people think, what they're looking for, what they care about, and what they don't like about their existing providers, then you would be golden. You would steal the business away from your competitors in a heartbeat, and you would make a killing. Okay, so it's all about information. Whoever has the knowledge and the information, whoever understands their targeted customers the best, they win. Okay, that's the game you're in any business, in any industry. That's the game you're in. Okay. Now, what can we do to increase the likelihood that we will be able to reach these people and be able to connect with at least some of them? Well, the first thing is the expression fish where the fish are. Okay. If you're selling a very, very niche product or service, in the case that your niche is so small that there's only a tiny amount of potential customers out there, that might not be the best situation. It really limits your growth potential and your size potential. Okay, so what's generally a good idea is to go to as broad of a market as possible. Okay, and do it that way. That's why the internet is such a great tool. You can reach people all over the world, right? With essentially no extra charge to do this. You can also go into areas, decide to target industries that are growing, things that are maybe a certain size now, big enough that you could make some money now, but as 1, 2, or 3 years go by, those industries are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. And what that means is that you're going to position yourself to be more profitable down the line. So if you can get a toehold now, that's all you have to do. Your business will naturally grow because all your competitors and the entire industry is growing. Okay. Standing still would result in growth because everything is growing in that industry. Okay, so that's the other thing you want to do, as opposed to the alternative, which is choosing a niche business to go into, where it's either reached maturity, it's not growing anymore, it's kind of just existing, or it's in decline. Okay, if you go into the business of selling fax machines or VHS devices, recorders, that's in decline. They're selling less and less of those every year. So even the most efficient company who really understood their market the best, even they would have trouble making money in that business. You've got to go into a business where the odds are in your favor rather than being against you from the start. Okay, that's a critical thing to do. Okay, so that's the theory. Now, coming back to David B's specific situation here, okay, launched into a marketplace, struggling with the exact issue, how to get the first customers. Market campaign includes a website, making a case for yourself, but can't really get beyond that. So here's what I'd recommend. Okay, if you've got your own website set up, what's the traffic to your website? if nobody sees your website, that's not really doing you much good. Remember, fish where the fish are. If all those people that would be your customers are hanging out in a specific place, okay, this could be in the physical world or it could be online. If they're all hanging out in a certain place, if they're all reading a certain magazine, if they're all going to a certain group in a social networking site like Facebook group or LinkedIn groups, whatever, okay, that's where you need to be, okay? Maybe they're not, it's hard to convince them to go out of their way to go to your website, but maybe they're seeing posts that you might post in those places, okay? And every industry is going to have these hubs of attention, okay? A lot of industries have trade shows. They have industry associations. So, for example, I always use the example of plumbers, right? The plumbing industry. If you're in the plumbing business, you want to have a presence. You want to be a member of the industry association for plumbers in your region, and you want to go to the plumbing trade show in your region, okay? That's where all the companies that release new plumbing products, like tools that plumbers use to do their job. All the big customers that need tons and tons of plumbers, maybe they run oil refineries or, the water and waste management services of cities and things like that. They're going to be there, okay? All the players in the industry are there. Everybody connected with that industry is there, okay? So you want to be there. That's where your customers are going to be. That's where you're going to be able to see what your competition is right up front, okay? And that's how you're going to be able to see what they're doing and where the action is, and you need to have a presence there, okay? So putting up a website is great, but if nobody goes there, that's not really doing you much good. You need to go and be seen where people are, okay? And the simplest way that I always recommend people do that is let's say you're going into the plumbing business and there's a plumbers group, for your city on Facebook, and then there's a plumbers group for your, region on LinkedIn. Join those groups, be active, be putting out posts, asking people questions, getting answers, putting your product out there, saying, what do you think of this? Here's what I offer. Let me know if you're interested. Stuff like this, because that's where they're looking. Okay. And if you're doing that, okay, and you're doing it in such a way that you're not breaking the bank to do this, you are going to learn that entire industry, and you're going to learn all the people that are in it. You're going to learn that market. And that is success. It may take a little bit of time to do that, okay? You can't do that in a weekend, right? It might even take a year to do that. But once you do that, and once you understand that industry and you're on the inside of it, okay, then you know exactly what to do that people will respond to. And you know exactly how to tell them about it so they see it. And you know exactly what to say that will convince them to buy. Okay, so that's what I would say to this issue. So thank you very much to David B for sending in this question. David B is awesome, and so is everyone listening to this. Starting a business successfully is actually easier than you think, and it can be done. It happens many, many times every day, all over the world, constantly. People make a success of this. It's just about knowledge, okay? And if anyone is interested, I have a course called the $100 MBA. For $100, the best bang for the buck for learning business, okay? You learn everything that is taught in a university MBA program, in a 2-year university MBA program, okay? You order the books, you read them, the actual same textbooks that they use in MBA programs, and you learn business, okay? You don't get the fancy qualification at the end because there's no tests, no evaluations. It's all just pure self-study. You can go as deep as you want or not. If you're not interested in certain areas, you don't have to. But this will give you the opportunity to learn business. And if you're going to go into business, the best way to succeed is to know business, okay? Learn your craft, and it will pay off several-fold throughout the course of your career. So thank you very much for listening. You guys are awesome. I hope to see you on the next episode. Take care.